the best HLTV fantasy player we've had ever. It's Lucy.
I've still got it top 1%. What a result. And in fact, if I'd hit the 4 boosters I missed, because I got every other one, that would have been number 3 in the world. Pretty damn good. I'm really happy that, my backing of Tessa, who I thought was criminally underrated, undervalued, paid off. Brilliant result. And in fact, puts me at number 100 in the world. So that's crazy. I didn't realize I was that high. Means if, I can keep this kind of going at this pace, I could finish in the top 100, which would feel amazing. That's kind of like the goal every season, top 100 finish. That's normally, I think, top 0.1% or something. So that's what we're aiming for. Let's see if we can do it. Let's keep the run rolling. So with Blast Rivals, it's important to note that the playoff stage and group stage are a single fantasy event. So I think this encourages a more conservative approach to the draft, especially because of the way the groups work. In Group A, I think it's very straightforward. Everyone should be expecting Vitality to go through to the uppers and win that versus Mouse, versus Pain, whoever it is, they go through. I think that's very safe to assume. And when you win the upper final, into the semis, a round of padding. This is important because in Group B, we have Spirit, Falcons, FaZe, who are all in the same group, and I think that creates, a bit of risk here. There's not like a clear, safe 2-2-1. Like, I think a lot of people will lean into Falcons because obviously they played really good in Melbourne. But you gotta remember, they're gonna be traveling from Melbourne, which is a long travel day, let me tell you. Then straight into this event, which doesn't quite have the same level of prestige as IE Melbourne, obviously. Whereas Spirit, they purposely skip Melbourne. They've taken time off to recuperate, to rest, to prepare for this kind of rest of the season for the major and all the rest. So I think Spirit are gonna come in looking a lot better. They have a much easier opening game. And I actually do think that they are the team that wins this upper final. And I think whichever team wins this upper final is going to be the team that Vitality meet in the grand final. So with that said, my bet is more into Spirit, but it does mean that you could go like a 5-1-1-1 draft, and it wouldn't be that bad because even in Group A, if you go into Mouse and Vitality, even as a 2-2-1, and Mouse lose this, they're going to be on the other side of the bracket. So there's still a good chance you could get players in the grand final from both sides. But that's the key thing. Try and draft so you're going to have a good chance of 2 players at least on the opposite side of the bracket. Like I've been saying for Vitality for the last couple of events, I think that it's about who you can afford to fit your draft, especially because Mezzi and Apex are quite a lot cheaper than the rest of the team. So I actually don't hate just Apex Mezzi as the combo. I think Mezzi's been delivering in spades. It works well. Spirit, I think that Donk at 235 is in the kind of ballpark where he becomes actually very draftable, especially with players like Kixon, who is the most drafted player. And I think because he allows so many drafts, that makes sense. And with Chopper at 189, those 3 players allow you to then still get 2 other decent players. But the player that jumps out the most to me here is Ontix. I think that he has been in great form this year in particular. And for 207, brilliant price. I think he's super underrated and I'm going to draft him. He's a must draft for me at that price. Mouse's pricing is a little tricky because of the group that they're in and the fact that if they lose this Vitality, which we expect them to, it's straight into Falcons or Spirit, which doesn't get much easier. But I think Assertion's decent price, Berlin's decent price, but a very difficult team to draft. For Falcons, obviously, the only players you want to draft here are Tessus and Kixan. Like, Tessus's price is the price it was before the IEM playoff performance. So get him while he's cheap. Like 199, bargain. Kixan, 182, bargain. I think every draft is probably going to have one of these players for very good reason. Like, their pricing is ridiculous. No one else on this team, I think, is good pricing except those 2. Do we want to talk about FaZe? Why is Frozen 215? What did he do to earn this price tag? What? How is he this expensive? I mean, he's alright, I guess, but geez, I would not pay that much for Frozen. I don't know if I'd really buy anyone on FaZe, especially with the group they've got. Falcons first game. Sure, they beat FlyQuest in the lower game, which could get you good points, so they can get through in third. It's not impossible. I mean, it's very likely, so maybe you get some points out of a Rain or Brokey. Seems crazy. Pain, again, this is a real solid third place team. They're actually, biggest error for 178. Not that they're very cheap. They're very cheap. They could enable you a really strong donk draft. Only case you go Pain. You don't go FlyQuest. You don't go wildcard. That's what you do. From my perspective, I don't really need to take too many more risks this season, so I'm playing it pretty safe. Mezzy Apex, cheap Vitality combo will do well. Gonna grab Tesses, I think insane value for that price. Cannot afford to skip him. And then I'm gonna grab Double Spirit. Chopper and Zontix, as mentioned, must draft for me at that price. I don't really feel like I've got anyone that's like the best player on their team, but with easy opening games with both Vitality and Spirit, I've got good potential for great points regardless of who I've got on the team there. And then depending on what happens in Group B, even if Spirit dropped the ball, I've got Tessis, and if Falcons drop the ball, I've got Spirit. It'll do. Anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know what you're drafting. And as always, good luck.